This is the story about Richard Ardell McCaslin, Mac, named Ardell by his sister, his only sister of 7 siblings, 6 boys and 1 girl. Mac is the last surviving sibling. Mac was born February 21st, 1925 in Flemington, Pennsylvania near Williamsport. Mac fought in 3 wars for this country, World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. This story is our family's version of The Greatest Generation Speaks. Okay. You grew up outside Flemington.
No, I grew up in Williamsport.
Williamsport. What do you remember about being in Williamsport?
What do I remember about being in Williamsport? Oh, when I was 4 years old, I started smoking.
At 4?
At 4. My dad used to leave a pack of Camels for me every day when I went to work. My mother used to lay me on the couch, and I smoked them cigarettes, and that would be it.
You started smoking at 4?
4 years old.
And Camels don't have a filter.
No.
Good gosh. And then, what was your first job? You went to what? To 9th grade?
I went to 9th grade. From there, I went to. I quit school. I went to.
And when did your dad die?
He died in '36.
Okay, so you were how old? What, 11 then?
I was 12, I think.
12.
12. And he died in '36. Then we moved to. Well, we moved to a place where I go to school up at Stevens, Thaddeus Stevens Junior High School. Before that, we moved around. I went to Webster School and so on and so forth. I had to go back to school in 4th grade. I didn't pass the 4th grade.
Oh, you did? That's because you were smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, probably. Then the principal used to take me in his office and give me a paddling for smoking. Send me across the hallway and give me graham crackers and milk, and then I go out and play basketball.
That sounds like it was a punishment, huh?
Yeah.
Crackers and milk for smoking a cigarette.
Right.
So that was 4th grade?
4th grade.
And then in 9th grade, is that when you started working at the factory?
Yeah, I started working at the Williamsport textile factory.
And what did you do there?
I was a quill boy. I used to go around and get up all the quills and take the excess thread off of them and then bring them back to the quill place.
How long did you do that?
Well, I did that. I did that for about 4 years.
Oh my gosh! So when did you go in which branch of service did you go in first?
Army.
You went in the Army.
I went in the Army in October 1942.
42. And you went into what was your MOS or grade, or I mean occupation?
I didn't have no occupation when I went in.
And they sent you to Africa?
They sent me to the Blue Garage.
Well, where'd you go to basic training?
I went to basic training at Fort Eustis, Virginia.
Oh, did you really?
Uh-huh.
That's not far from there. It's down by Petersburg. Yeah.
Yeah.
And from Eustis you went to Africa?
I went to the Blue Garage.
What's
Blue
that?
Garage. They have these balloons that sits on the ground, and they're for enemy aircraft. Then you run them up.
Oh yeah.
Run them up like they had in England.
Right.
That's the Blue Garage.
And where'd you do that?
I did that in Tennessee.
Oh,
Camp
really?
Tyson, Tennessee.
Camp Tyson? I hadn't heard of that one.
No, that's long.
Is it gone?
Long gone. Then from there, I volunteered to go overseas.
And they sent you
to Africa.
Where'd you come into Africa? Where'd you land?
Oran, Africa. I landed at Oran, Africa on my birthday, 21st of February.
Is that right? So that was 42?
Yeah, that was 42.
Let's see, 42, 25, so you were 17 when you enlisted in the Army.
I was 17 when I enlisted in the Army. Then they caught me at...
they caught you because you're too young.
They caught me when I was too young, but I was near my birthday, so they let me in.
And did you go to the Airborne in Africa?
Yeah, I went to the Airborne in Africa. I was in this displacement camp. So they picked me out, and I went to 692nd Airborne.
And you were a machine gunner?
I was machine gunner.
What kind of machine gun was it?
DAR, 50 caliber.
Oh, that's heavy.
Yeah, it was a heavy machine gun company.
Yeah.
But we would fly into, say about 15 miles behind the lines and be transported up to the lines in trucks. It was a heavy.
So you didn't have to actually jump, parachute in?
No, we never parachuted.
Well, how'd you get in an airborne unit without being parachute ready?
I don't know. That's the Army.
They didn't care. They just said man the machine gun.
Just man the machine guns.
And how long were you in that unit?
Almost 2 years.
And was it all there at that one place?
No, it was all over. We went to Africa.
Where'd you go from there?
Sicily. We went an invasion to Sicily. Then from there we went to Italy. And from there we went to, let's see, in Italy they broke us up. I went to the 898 AAA Portobello-meter.
Anti-aircraft?
Anti-aircraft. I went to that one. And then we come back, when I was in that outfit, we come back and then we went to Corsica. Corsica, then we went to Marseille, France.
Oh, so you marched into France too?
Yeah.
When you went into Sicily, who was the? Do you remember who the commander of that unit was? Was that with
that was Patton.
Patton? You went in with Patton's force?
Yeah, that was Patton.
Did you ever get to see him?
Yeah, we saw him in Palermo. He inspected us one day, and we cut off our. Remember, the leggings were way high, so we didn't like him. So we cut them off about 8 or 9 inches. I mean, they had
like right at the boot.
Yeah. Then our plans with blouse, and but Patton didn't like that. He said that we had to pay for them leggings, so we had to pay for them.
So they made you pay for your pants?
We made
tore them up?
Our leggings.
Yeah. Oh, the leg. Oh, yeah.
He didn't like those.
And did you have brown boots then?
Well, we had black boots.
You had black boots because they had brown boots for a while.
Brown boots and black boots.
Yeah.
But we didn't like that. So we cut the leggings off to blouse our pants. Then they come out with them GI boots.
Yeah.
The ones that had the straps on them.
Oh, okay. What'd you think about the invasion of Sicily? Was there a lot of fighting? Or?
Yeah, there was a lot of fighting. We hit a sandbar going in. We couldn't pull off. We couldn't.
Oh, so you were in like one of those landing crafts?
Yeah, we was in an LST.
You in the front or the back?
What?
Were you in the front of it or the back of it?
Front of it.
Did you get wet?
No.
Oh, no?
Wet. But we hit a sandbar going in. We was too far from shore to unload, and then we couldn't pull off. The anchor wouldn't pull us off. So we sat there during the whole invasion, the planes diving at us and bombing us. And
oh, you're like a sitting duck.
yeah, we were a sitting duck. So that night they finally come up and pull us off.
Did any of the bombs hit in the landing craft?
No, none
machine
of the
guns?
bombs. It hit. We fire back, but didn't do us no good. They were coming out of the sun.
No, you couldn't see them until they got right on top.
They would fly up to the sun and then come down and strafe us and bomb us.
How long did that go on for?
The whole day of the invasion.
Oh, you were stuck in that landing craft all day?
All day long.
Good gosh.
I can remember I was on the machine gun and this aircraft was firing at us, and it was right by the front door where you went down the steps. I just dove down them steps.
Now, how much did you weigh then?
I weighed around 180 pounds.
Oh, you did? Okay. I just would have thought you were a lot tinier than that, because all that equipment would have, if you'd have jumped in the water, you might have sunk.
No, I weighed about 170 pounds, I guess.
That wasn't too bad.
I weighed 180 pounds when I got out of basic training.
Oh.
I was a little fat boy.
Well, I've never seen you fat in any of the photographs.
No.
How long did you stay in Sicily?
Sicily, we stayed there during the whole campaign.
How long was that? A couple months?
A couple months.
Yeah. And then you marched on to Italy mainland?
Then we went up to Palermo. And
you remember where you landed in Italy?
Yeah, at the boot.
At the
total the boot.
very end of it.
Yeah, we crossed the Straits of Messina, went
Okay.
up that way by truck.
Okay.
We wasn't in the Salerno. Didn't get to Salerno Beach.
Okay.
I mean, that was the invasion.
How far up Italy did you go then?
To the Arno River.
And then,
Lawrence.
how long did that take you? Wow.
Oh, that took us about
Was there any enemy action, any fighting there?
yeah.
So you were fighting the whole way up?
They had casino. They had the Mount Casino.
Mm.
That was terrible because we couldn't get it past that. But then we pulled out. We pulled out and went into the invasion of Anzio.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we pulled out of there and went to the invasion of Anzio. Got on there, and then that general they had, he went in as far as the mountains was concerned, and then he stopped. I don't know why, but he stopped. And there we was setting ducks.
Yeah.
For the artillery,
And you were still with the airborne unit then?
yeah.
So you're still the heavy machine gun?
With heavy machine guns. We were put on the beach to train, for any aircraft.
Right.
flying.
Who actually carried the 50 caliber?
Well,
Did you carry it or you all
yeah,
swapped off?
no.
That sucker's heavy.
Yeah, that sucker is about 7 to 8 foot long
Yeah.
with a barrel in it. But we take the barrel out and then we put it in when we set it up.
Did you have an extra barrel?
Oh yeah, we had 3 extra barrels.
Yeah.
Because they burn out.
Yeah, they get pretty hot.
They burn out, and so.
And didn't you tell me when you were in Africa and the P-40s would crash, you'd
We
go over and take their machine gun?
take the guts out of the machine gun and put them in ours.
Was theirs a better machine gun?
They were a better machine gun. They were a faster machine gun.
And but it would work fine? You could
Oh,
still
yeah.
shoot it manually?
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that.
Yeah. We took the guts out of them and put it in ours.
So after Anzio, where'd you go?
Anzio, we went to the Arno River. We went up to past Rome to the Arno River, Florence, up in that area. Then we come out. Well, they broke us down into infantry.
Oh, great.
So we was up there as infantry, and we was the only ones up there too.
That's not fun.
No, that was not fun. And they would, German soldiers would come over at night and harass us, and we go over there and harass them.
Was this during the summer or the winter?
Winter. This was during winter.
Was it a little cold?
Yeah, it was cold. Yeah, it was cold. It was northern Italy, so it was cold.
Did it snow?
No, I had no snow.
That was good.
Yeah. Then we come out of there and went back to Naples, got aboard the ship, then we went to Corsica. Then we went to Marseille, France.
Well, now that was getting away from the fighting then, right?
Yeah.
But then from Corsica you went back into Marseille?
Marseille, then from there we took, Marseille, we went up to the Danube River, we went to Heidelberg and all those places.
Oh my gosh.
And then from there we crossed the Rhine.
Where'd you cross the Rhine at, do you remember?
Mannheim.
Oh, really?
Mannheim, they had pontoon bridges.
Yeah.
Then we set up on a pontoon bridge for enemy aircraft. We set up, we guarded the pontoon bridges there for about a month, I guess.
Ah. Well, you know, when I was in Germany, when I first got there, my helicopter quit at night. Remember that? When I first got there, that was in Mannheim.
Mannheim?
Yeah. You went to Mannheim. I went there 40-some years later, and my helicopter quit. I didn't know we'd both been there.
Yeah.
So how long did you fight in Germany?
To the end of the war.
Oh, so you stayed there. Where was the last battle you were in? Remember?
Can't remember. I remember a JU-52 had flowed by us, and we started running for our guns, and they yelled, "Don't shoot! Don't shoot! The war's over!"
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A JU-52?
Yeah, that had the 3 engines on it.
Oh,
It was a
okay.
transport with the 3 engines on it.
Right.
That?
One up on the nose. It
One
looked
up
funny,
on
and
the
then one
nose.
on each wing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was JU-52.
Did you get any souvenirs of German soldiers?
Yes, I did. I got a flag off of a Gestapo building, and I got a helmet, a bayonet, and everything else. And I brought it home. I put it up in the attic. And I'll be damned if our tenants didn't steal it.
In Oxon Hill, or?
In Oxon Hill.
Is that right?
That's right.
Oh man.
Yep. I went up there to check on it once I got back, and it was gone. So the people that moved in there, after we rented it out, went up in the attic and stole it.
Stole it. God. So you went into Africa, and then when you left Europe, where'd you leave out of?
La Havre, France.
Oh, okay.
We'd come back on a Liberty ship. And I can remember those guys going up to that Liberty ship and said, "That ain't the ship we're going back on." I said, "I don't give a damn if they have a rowboat on the back end." I said, "That thing is headed for the United States." I said, "I'm going."
That's right. So how long were you in France then?
France, I think we was in, what do you mean total?
Well, at the end there.
Well,
like after the war was over, how long?
About 2 months.
Oh, so you stayed there a while.
Yeah.
So you went over in 42 and you came back?
45.
45. You went to Africa, Italy, France, and Germany. And to Sicily.
Africa, Sicily, Italy,
Corsica,
France, Germany. And after the war.
And you crossed the Danube and the Rhine?
Right, yeah.
Did you go through Paris?
No, I didn't get to, no. Yeah, when Pat got us this trip over, it was the first time I was ever to Paris.
Oh, is that right?
That's right. Never saw the Eiffel Tower or anything.
Did you ever get shot while you were there?
No.
No?
But
Close?
Close, yes, close.
Close enough to hear it go by your ear?
Yes, yes, I did. Yes, I did. I was sitting out when we was up on the Arnold River. I was sitting out back we had a house where we slept, and I got up and I went out and sit down there, and the damn bullet right at the top of my head.
Did you have a helmet on?
No.
No.
No helmet.
Were you smoking a cigarette?
Yep.
Yep. So when you got on the ship at La Havre, where did it come into in the States?
What's that city below Cape Patrick County? I forget. Oh, Norfolk.
Oh, okay.
Norfolk. And then when we got to Norfolk, we couldn't get off the ship because it was somebody got sick and it was contagious.
Oh, so they quarantined the ship?
They quarantined the ship.
So you could see Norfolk, but you couldn't get off?
We could see Norfolk, we could see all these cars moving around and everything else, and we couldn't get off.
Did anybody jump off and swim in?
No.
No? How long did y'all have to sit in the quarantine?
Oh, about 2 days.
Oh my gosh.
And then we got off, and then the Red Cross was there. They gave us coffee and donuts. And then we got aboard, and then we went to Cape Patrick, and then from there we was dispersed wherever we were going.
So you were 20 years old.
I was 20 years old.
And you'd already fought in the World War for 3 years.
For 3 years.
What'd you do after you got back to the States?
I went back to my old job up at the textile place.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was a foreman then. I was a foreman. I run the filling department. And then after that, I went out and on a contractor deal.
Uh-huh.
I worked on that, then I worked in, then I went to school. I went to GI school, learned to be a welder.
Now, did all your brothers and sisters still live there in Williamsport? Did any of them ever move out then, or were they still living there?
They were still living there.
How long did you work at the factory then?
What factory?
At the quill or whatever.
Oh, I was only there about a year. Then I went out and I went to school. I become a welder. Then I went over to...
Where was this?
In Williamsport.
In Williamsport.
Then Spencer Heater made big boilers.
Uh-huh.
And then I started welding on them. I set them up. We would set them up to where these other welders, they were high-speed welders. And they would, we would set them up, basically, and we send them over to the welders.
Uh-huh. So, and you worked there for how long?
Oh, about 4 years.
Oh, okay. So now you're 25 years old, probably.
24, 25.
And this is all still in Williamsport.
Williamsport, yeah.
Then what you do?
Let's see.
So that would have been 1950, right? Or thereabouts.
Let's see.
When'd you go? When you were in the Army in World War II in Korea? When'd you go in the Korean War? Or when'd you go in the Air Force?
When I went in the Air Force in '53. I went back in the Air Force in '53.
So from 1950 to '53, what'd you do?
1950 to '53. Well, I was married. I got divorced.
It happens.
Yeah, it happens. And then I just fooled around. I mean, I didn't. I got laid off of work. I couldn't work.
So this was still in Williamsport?
Still in Williamsport. And then for about 3 years, all I did was goof around. In '53, I said, well, I had enough of this, so I went down to the post office and I went upstairs. And I told the guy, I says, I want to go back in. So he took me in. I went back in. From there, I went to Chanute Air Force Base, learned to be an engine mechanic.
Where was that?
Illinois.
Illinois.
Champaign.
Oh, okay.
Champaign, Illinois. From there, I went to, they sent me up to Maine to Prescott, which was wrong. I should have went to Andrews, but then they kept me there, and I went down to Andrews then.
So how long did you stay in Maine?
About 3 weeks.
Oh.
About 3 weeks, and I went down to Andrews. And Andrews, hell, I stayed there almost 7 years.
Oh, is that right?
That's right.
And you were aircraft mechanic?
I was an engine mechanic.
On what kind of engines? Which one?
J25. It's a GE 25.
What aircraft did that go in?
F-86.
Oh.
F-86D.
Was that the Sabre?
That was a Sabre, yeah. But see, they had two types. They had the F-86 without the radar on it.
Uh-huh.
We had radar on ours.
Where was the radar mounted?
On the nose.
On the nose?
Yeah.
But didn't that F-86 have the big intake on the nose with kind of the lip stuck out on the top of it or something?
That was the F-86.
Yeah.
What the lip was the radar.
Oh, okay. So that little protrusion was the radar.
Right, right.
Ah.
Then we got 102s. We got rid of the F-86s. We got 102s. Then we got rid of the 102s and we had F-106s.
What did the 102 look like? I don't remember.
F-80, you know what the F-80, the 106 looks like?
Uh-huh.
Okay, it's same thing.
Okay. Did it have a high T-tail?
Yeah,
what that
had high T-tail and then velvet wings.
Right. Oh, yeah.
That was the F-86. I mean, that was the 102 leather.
Yeah. So you stayed at Andrews for 7 years.
7 years, then I went to Minot.
Well, when did you and Grandma meet?
We met there at Andrews.
Where'd you meet her?
In the NCO club.
Ah. Grandma cruised the clubs, huh?
Yep, she cruised the clubs. She'd call up and she says, is the drinking light on yet? Free beer. So
What do you remember about the first time you saw Grandma?
Well, I didn't think too much about it. She's with some guy, and I didn't think too much about it. So I just sat at the table and drank my beer, and after the beer, I got up and left. I didn't think too much about Grandma.
And then how did y'all get hooked back up? Was she?
Well, I danced with her, and I danced with her while we were sitting at the table. I mean, while we were sitting at the table, I asked her if she wanted to dance.
Mm-hmm.
She said yes. So then we made a date while we was dancing.
Uh-huh.
So
Wait a minute. You asked Grandma for a date while you're dancing with her, and she's there on a date with another guy?
Yep.
Well, you're pretty slick.
I got the date.
Must have been a smooth talker. You got a date, and look where you are now. She's still here.
Yep. And from there on, it was just magic. I mean, I think we went together for about 6 months.
Where'd you take her on your first date?
I don't remember.
Grandma? Where'd you and Mac go on your first date?
Huh?
Where did you and Mac go on your first date?
You remember? I don't remember.
Well, I'm sure it was to the NCO club. It's the only place we ever went.
We went up Skyline.
Oh yeah, to the what was it called?
Skyline.
Skyline. Skyline. That's where I met you. You called.
No, I met you at the NCO club.
Oh yeah.
He was with that Master Sergeant.
Yeah, your boss.
Yeah, my boss. But I don't remember where we went on our first date. How long?
The first date was at Skyline. That I.
That's right, because you drove your car over there.
Yeah. Because I
Yeah.
wanted to let anybody know where I lived.
Yeah, that's right.
What?
It was GIs. I wouldn't trust him as far as I could see him.
And you married one.
I was at Skyline because
Yeah, that's right.
I said, you asked me to call you, and you gave me the note. You said you were going to be at Skyline, and I was over at my girl for Evans.
Yeah.
And I said, Matt gave me his number to call him at Skyline. And she said, oh, go ahead. And I said, oh, I want to. I said, but I wasn't going to let anybody know where I lived. I'm going to let them make an impression on me with my nice house. So that's why I went up to Skyline and met him up there.
Yeah, yeah.
Ellen and I went up there together. Went home by myself too. And then I did give him my address, and then he came over.
Yeah.
So how long did y'all date then before you got married?
About 6 months, didn't we?
Yeah,
So you got married when?
September.
September. Right before that, I asked Pat and Carolyn.
He asked them before he ever asked me.
Let's see.
I says, I want to marry your mother. I said, if there's anything wrong with this, I said, I want to know about it. If you have anything against me, I said, you tell me now, before I ask her. They said, no, we didn't have nothing. They said, no, we don't have nothing wrong with you.
They just wanted me to get married so they wouldn't have to take care of me.
So how old were they then? This was what?
Well, Pat was married. She had Hal.
That's right. So that was after 58.
Yeah.
I was born 58.
And Carolyn was still in school.
Carolyn was still in school.
Okay. So what year did you get married?
59.
59. September what?
19th. 1959.
September 19th, 1959. And then when did you go? You went from there to where?
Minot.
We went to Minot. She don't, North Dakota. She was born in North Dakota, and she didn't want to go back. She says,
Where were you born in North Dakota?
Kathy.
Cold. So you stayed 3 years in North
No.
Dakota?
2 years.
2 years?
Minot. Oh.
2 years.
Because we came, that's when we came out to see y'all.
Yeah, but
Cold.
we were in the apartment about 3 months, and on day 6 we were only there a year. Then we went to Alaska.
Yeah, because you were on base when we came to visit.
Yeah.
Because I remember there was nothing, no trees, no grass,
No,
nothing.
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 Just like being out in the,
Cindy was just crawling. She
Yeah.
wasn't even.
and we went to Aunt Rebecca's house and went
Yeah.
down in her basement, and she had all that canned food everywhere.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the way we were raised.
I know, but I thought I'd died and gone to heaven with all that food around there. Like, holy cow, man, you could eat here forever.
And
It was all fresh vegetables and
they
stuff.
said, it looks like a grocery store down here.
And then we went out to look at the pigs, and Hal grabbed hold of that electric fence and he shocked him. And then they had a,
You rode the pigs.
yeah,
The pigs.
You rode the pigs.
and got up in their hayloft too, I think.
Yeah.
And then they had it was like an airboat, but it went over the snow.
The snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snowmobile.
But was it snowmobile or was it
Yeah.
some other?
No, that's
No.
a homemade snowmobile.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because it had to be, yeah.
Yeah.
You remember going to the park, going sliding down the sliding board?
I don't
It
remember
was
that.
so cold. Carolyn came out there. We were in Minot. We took the kids to the park.
Yeah.
And really,
Then we went out to the lake, took them out there, and had this. It was so damn cold out there.
all bundled up, had to make a shelter around
Had to make a shelter around the
the city
bench.
around her. Well, here this lady is, dressed.
So you're in
Nice.
Minot for 2 years, and then you go to Alaska?
Minot, we were only there 1 year, Mac. We were in the
1 year?
department about 3 months, and then we were on base less than a year.
Less than a year, I don't know.
And then we went, in February, it was Carolyn's birthday, we went to Alaska.
Alaska. And then every time I walk into the NCO club, somebody would play North to Alaska.
He had his orders for Alaska.
North to Alaska.
Well,
So what rank were you in Minot then?
Staff sergeant.
Staff sergeant. What?
P5.
That's pretty good. So you've been in, what, 5 years maybe?
Well, let's see.
You went in 53.
53 years and this was 61. He was at Minot. But I was a staff sergeant before I left the Andrews.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I was staff sergeant before I left the Andrews. Then I was staff sergeant for almost 14 years.
All right. We were in Alaska,
Alaska.
1961.
1 to 63, 64.
That's right, because the earthquake was 64.
64, yeah.
And y'all lived in base housing then?
No, we lived in a trailer park right outside of Anchorage.
Oh, okay.
Mountain View Trailer Park, that's what we lived in.
Mountain View?
Mountain View Trailer Park. I lived in Mountain View.
Oh, really? What'd you think of Alaska?
I liked it there.
Really?
Yeah, I liked it.
Wasn't too cold?
No, it wasn't too cold for me. Maybe Dorothy was too cold. But I had put in an extension paper. I wanted to stay up there another year. Then the quake hit, and she was in the PX one day, and she was trying on a dress and had an aftershock. She came out there, and she went back to the office and phoned me up. She says, "I'm going now." She said, "I'm leaving this place."
So you had to cancel your extension,
I
right?
had to go get the extension and rip it up.
Oh, God. So, and you were tech sergeant still?
Yeah, I was a tech sergeant when I left Alaska.
And what were you mechanic on then?
I wasn't a mechanic, I was I worked in the office there.
Oh, okay.
I took care of the inspections and so on and so forth. I'd make up the paperwork and take it out to the engineer.
Okay. Was that like quality control?
Quality control, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Okay.
And then from there I went to, left Alaska. I went to New Mexico,
Oh, that's right.
Holloman Air Force Base, New Mexico. And I spent, what, two or 3 years there, I don't know.
Was that near White Sands?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Were you in F4s then?
Let's see, what kind of aircraft did we have there? We had 8 F-84s there.
F-84s.
F-84s.
Oh.
That was a cartridge starter.
Oh, it was?
They had a thing there, it was a cartridge starter. Once that thing burned up, you couldn't start it again.
Oh my gosh. So you had to replace the cartridge each time?
Yeah, you had to replace the cartridge each time.
Well, what if the engine went out in flight?
Oh, it never, well, you air started it then.
Oh, okay.
If it was going around,
Still
so you
spinning,
could air
yeah.
start it then. Yeah, F-84s.
And you were at Holloman how long?
About a year and a half.
Okay, so.
And there I went to Davis Mountain Air Force Base, Arizona.
Oh, that's the boneyard, isn't it?
That's the boneyard.
Yeah.
There we had F-4s.
How long were you there?
About a year. I volunteered to go to Vietnam.
So you left Davis and went to Vietnam?
Yeah, I left Davis and I went to Vietnam. We were back here. And then I left, like I said this morning, I left at Dallas.
Right.
I left at Dallas,
To go to Vietnam?
Vietnam.
Where'd you arrive in country in Vietnam?
Saigon.
Saigon. Where were you based out of?
We flew into Saigon. Saigon, I went to Cam Ranh Bay. Cam Ranh Bay, I spent a month. Then I went to Tuiwa. Tuiwa was a F-100 base.
Oh.
Then I spent the whole year there.
So how long were you in Vietnam total?
A year.
A year. Did you see a lot of fighting there?
Didn't see no fighting there.
Yeah, because you're in the Air Force now, so you're in the back.
I was in the
You learned from World War II. I didn't want to be in the infantry.
When I left the air, when I was discharged, I said if I ever go back into service again, I said I'm going to go back in the Air Force.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
When did you make Master Sergeant?
I mean, Master Sergeant at Arizona.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you made that before you went to Vietnam.
I made that before I went to Vietnam. I made Master Sergeant before I went to Vietnam. And Tuiwa, I spent a year there. I went to Taipei on my R&R. I picked up all this brass there.
Uh-huh. Yeah, where's that? I see one right there.
I picked up all the brass there. And then I went to the TX and bought her jewelry. From there, I come back here. I went to, what the heck was that base name? At Columbus, Ohio.
Wright Patterson?
No, it wasn't Wright Patterson. I forget what base it was. It wasn't Wright Patterson. At Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
I forget what the heck base, it's World War I Air Force. I mean, World War I base. What the heck is Rickenbacker?
Oh, yeah.
Rickenbacker Air Force Base. From there, I went to Dover.
Oh, you were stationed at Dover?
I went to Dover Air Force Base.
How long were you at Dover?
Almost 2 years.
I didn't
I
remember
went back
that.
to my old outfit that I was stationed with in Andrews.
At Andrews.
95th Fighter Interceptor Squadron.
What kind of jets did they have?
They had 106s.
106?
Yeah, they had 106s.
So what year was it? What year did you go to Dover?
Well, it had to be in the 60s, 68, 69.
Well, weren't you at Andrews when you retired?
No, well, yeah, I was at Andrews because from Dover, they sent me back to Andrews Air Force Base for my physical retirement.
Oh.
Then they found out they never completed an upper hyreneal rupture. They never completed it when I had it operated on in New Mexico. So I had to go back to the hospital again, and they re-operated on me.
Oh my God.
From there, I retired.
So you retired in 1970?
I retired in 1970.
So you've been retired 30 years.
I retired 30 years. I moved down here in 75.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You've been here 25 years.
Yeah.
You enjoy retirement? When did you take up golf?
When did I take up golf? When I went to Florida. When about 1990.
Oh, okay. So you've only been playing 10 years.
Yeah, I only been playing. That's when.
And really only when do you play out at Pax River any?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If somebody asked me to go over there,
Right.
because somebody has to watch my ball for me.
Right.
So whenever they ask me to go play golf and there's nothing wrong with my legs, I go. I haven't played golf since I left Florida this year.
Oh, really?
I haven't touched it.
Well, was the course closed out there for a while? Or
Yeah, the course was closed for a whole year.
renovating it or something?
Renovating it.
Well, what do you remember about World War I? What's the one thing you remember?
World War I?
I mean, two, sorry. You're old, you're not that old.
What I remember about World War I?
Two.
Well, I remember landing in Africa, going down to the shore and eating these oranges and so on and so forth. I remember that.
What do you remember about Italy?
Italy? Well, not I was mostly in the wintertime. The mountains was muddy, slow. They had to use pack mules to fight with.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had to use pack mules to bring in their chow and ammunition and so on and so forth. Because hell, you couldn't use a truck because it was too muddy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've seen guys walking along and they said, you start shelling, and they just pick up and get the hell out of there. Their goddamn boots are still in the mud.
Walk right out of their boots, huh?
They walk right out of their boots.
What do you remember about France?
France? Well, I was glad I was in France. Because France was, it was snowing and everything else. And remember the snow drifts were higher than the trucks were.
Oh my God, that's a lot of snow.
There's a lot of snow. You drive through these countrysides and hell, there'd be snow way up. And I remember during the bulge, when you had the bulge up, you know, I was in the bulge, but I was stationed there when they had the bulge.
Uh-huh.
And I was down there, and I had to go out in guard duty, I remember. And I went out, boy, it was cold. It was cold. There was a rabbit hopping around, and I tried to shoot it. I said, shit, I got to do something to break the monotony, so I started shooting a rabbit.
Were you in Patton's army the whole time?
No. Patton had the army at Sicily, and after Sicily, he hit that kid that was supposed to be
Oh yeah, in the hospital.
in the hospital. He hit that kid with his glove, and then after that, he was relieved of his command. And he didn't have command of another army until the Third Army that was in France.
Mm-hmm.
And we was with that was the Third Army, and we was with the Seventh Army in France.
Oh, okay. What about Germany? What do you remember about Germany?
Germany, I remember crossing the Rhine,
Right.
and Mannheim.
Was the river? Was that wintertime?
No, that was spring. That's spring, I guess.
So it was a little bit warm then, at least.
Yeah.
Not too
And
bad.
Heidelberg. I remember after the war, we were stationed at Heidelberg. I remember going up to the college,
Mm-hmm. The castle there.
the castle.
Yeah.
I remember going up that way. And after the war was over, they had a big sign on the bulletin board that says, "If you want to learn how to drive a truck, report to motor club." So I never drove a truck before. So I went up and I said, okay, I said, here I am. They said, okay. So they put me in the truck. They showed me the gears. I said, now you know how to double clutch? I said, no. I said, I don't know how to double clutch. So they showed me, and I was doing okay. So they sent me out on the road. I didn't know how to drive a truck. They sent me out on the road with an experienced driver. Thank goodness to that. So we go to the PW compound.
Uh-huh.
We pick up a bunch of PWs and we drive them home. So I saw a lot of country, Regensburg, and we went down to Austria, Innsbruck, Austria.
Oh my gosh. From Heidelberg?
From Heidelberg.
Yeah, that's a long drive.
Yeah, it was a long drive. And we Berlin. I didn't get to Berlin, but we took them close to Berlin. But we took them all over.
Did you go over to Dachau?
No, I didn't get to that
Camp
house.
in Munich? Yeah.
I didn't get to that house. But then when I started to learn how to shift them gears, boy, I was doing okay. Boy, I grind them in, and when I heard one guy tell me, "There you hit it," he says, "Give it hell."
What about Vietnam? What do you remember about Vietnam?
Vietnam, let's see. Tui Wall was all concrete. The Air Force went in there and made this base.
Mm-hmm.
They made a concrete base runway.
All right.
Yeah, then they had where the contractors stayed. They turned it into an NCO barracks, which had individual rooms,
Mm-hmm.
and it was air conditioned.
Oh man.
With air conditioning and everything. So, but before that, I lived in a pyramidal tent. Me and two sergeants, E8, stayed in this criminal tent.
Mm-hmm.
And our bivouac, I mean our compound where we stayed was right behind the NCO club, so I didn't have too far to go for me. I get drunk over there and stagger home.
Did you plan it that way, or was that
No,
just coincidence?
It was just coincidence. I can remember one day going into the shower, and I saw this one guy, I thought was a guy. I said, wait a second, the guy has smooth skin. The hell, it was a Korean girl. They had a Korean outfit there that played at the NCO club. And it was a Korean girl. I said, holy Toledo.
You're taking a shower.
She was in there taking a shower. So I didn't take notice, so I took my shower and I got out of there.
So you served in the Army and the Air Force. Which did you like better?
Air Force.
Why?
Well, I didn't have to fight.
Because you weren't an infantry.
I didn't have to fight.
I remember when I was in the Army ROTC, you used to tell me, don't go in the Army, go in something else,
Yeah.
don't go in the Army.
Don't go in that Army. Boy, I tell you. When I got out of that Army, boy, I was happy. I got aboard the train that would take me home, and I said, here's my discharge. Waving it. And I told myself, if I ever go back in the service again, it's going to be the Air Force. And I said, I'll go and make it a career.
And you did. How long were you in there? What?
3 years, let's see, yes.
I was in the Army, and then how long in the Air Force? Your Army time counted, right?
Yeah. Let's see, 3 years. I had 22 years.
Oh, okay.
So, in 19 years in the Air Force.
Yeah. If you went back to Africa, where would you, what one place would you want to go visit?
Algiers.
Algiers?
Mm-hmm.
You went through there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We left from there, we boarded the LST there, went to Sicily on the invasion. But I liked Algiers. I don't know what it's like now, but I liked Algiers.
What about Europe? If you went back there, where would you want to go?
Maybe Germany.
Germany? What? To Mannheim or Heidelberg?
Mannheim, Heidelberg, you know, down in that area.
Yeah. How long were you in Heidelberg? 2 years?
No, I was only in Heidelberg for about 2 months, two or 3 months.
Oh, okay. I don't imagine there's anything in Vietnam you'd want to go visit.
No, nothing over there that I want to see.
What if you go to you're going to Alaska with us on the cruise next
Yeah,
summer?
I went to Alaska on the cruise the last time.
What do you want to go see there?
I want to see where the hell I lived.
You want to go back and see the trailer park still there?
Yeah, I want to see where the trailer park's still there, see where the old trailers there.
Yeah. And
I doubt it.
And you were stationed at Elmendorf?
Elmendorf, yeah.
Which is right there in Anchorage?
Right there in Anchorage.
Yeah. I wonder what they've got stationed there now. What kind of aircraft?
Oh, they probably got F-5s.
Yeah.
They're F-15s, F-15s.
Yeah, 15s or 16s. Well, has retirement been everything you thought it would be?
More.
You've been retired for what, 25?
No,
No.
I retired in 1970.
30 years.
30 years.
Yeah. Not
So-
bad.
So it's not bad. Hell no, I know some guys that got out and they didn't live to be,
Yeah.
didn't live 5 years.
That's right.
You told me this.
Yeah.
The buddy you got, that you were stationed with,
Right.
is he still around?
Ken Hovitz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he still
Yeah.
around?
But I knew so many people. I mean, they retired when they were 42 or 43, and within a year they had a heart attack and died.
Yeah, I know.
Like, man, what a waste. I
know.
worked 20 years so I could retire for at least 20 years,
Yeah.
you know?
But I remember sitting in the NCO club there at Fort Myers, and hell, half of them guys wasn't even 50 yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, what the hell, what happened to this guy? He said, oh, hell, he had a heart attack, he died. I said, oh, 40.
And you wouldn't think that would be the case. I mean, in the military, you're required to stay in good shape. So, I mean, they do exercises and
Yeah,
PT and all that, but it was amazing the number that would die.
yeah.
So you enjoy retirement?
Yes, I enjoyed retirement up until I got degeneration in both eyes until I can't see where they are.
Well, Mac, you started smoking when you were 4 years old. What do you expect? That's a long time.
That's right.
You should,
So
really,
you-
it's lucky you got it this long.
71 years.
71?
And isn't that stupid, parents doing that stupid? Have you ever heard of such stupid parents?
You call my parents stupid?
To let a kid smoke a cigarette.
It ain't stupid. My parents weren't stupid now. Damn it, get off of it.
Well, it was a stupid thing to do.
It was a stupid thing to do, yes.
Well, I can't visualize.
Yeah, it happens a lot, though. I mean, look at some of the kids out there today, too. I mean, they're smoking
Oh,
still.
it's really,
Yeah, my father used to lend me a pack of cigarettes every day.
Which did you like better, K rations or C rations?
K rations.
They had cigarettes in them, didn't they?
Yeah, cigarettes in
see billboards.
Well, I used to swap them. I didn't smoke, so I'd swap the cigarettes for the chocolate bar, the John Wayne bar. Get the chocolate bar.
Yeah, that was a good bar.
Yeah, I like
When
those.
did they ever stop that?
I don't know. Have you ever had the MREs?
No.
Oh.
I remember them coming out, they had rations. They had Coca-Cola and beer rations.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know. They stopped all that, but anyhow, you get a rations of booze a month, and then you get a ration of Coca-Cola a month. So I trade my beer rations for Coca-Cola. I didn't even drink then.
Really?
No, didn't drink until I got out.
Well, what's the one thing you're the most proud of in your life?
The most
Besides your family. You can't say grandma, your grandkids, or any of that.
well, it's military service.
You retired as a E8?
I retired as an E7.
E7? MasterSgt?
E7. But if I had to do it over again, I'd do the same thing over again.
Would you?
Yeah.
Even going in the Army?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what made you want to go in the Air Force, so
Yeah, that's right.
had to do that. What's the one thing about you most people don't know?
Now?
Something maybe you always wanted to be this, or you always wanted to try this, or always wanted to do that?
All I wanted to do was weld.
Well?
Weld, yeah.
Yep.
I wanted to be the most high-paid welder in Williamsport.
Did you make it?
Nope, never made it.
But you were a welder, right?
Right, I was a welder.
Yep. You ever regret leaving Williamsport?
No. I remember going back to my brother's funeral.
Your youngest, the one that just died?
No.
Another?
The oldest one then. There was always, and there was just 3 of us left. One out in California, the one that you met,
Yeah.
and myself, and then this one. And I remember coming over all there, and my ex-wife, she came. She said, "Well, I'll see you." I said, "No, you won't." I said, "You see that guy in there?" I said, "That's my last hope that I got to come back here again." I said, "No. I said, I won't come back anymore."
How come you didn't like it there?
There was nothing there.
Nothing to do, yeah.
Except for every beer garden they had a church. For every church they had a gas station. And between the churches and the gas station and the beer halls, there was nothing to do.
That was it, yeah.
That was it.
But a lot of small towns are like that.
Yeah. Well, this town, they had around 65,000 in it.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
it was
big,
a
yeah.
pretty big town.
Yeah,
They had South Williamsport and Williamsport. South Williamsport is where they had a Little League.
yeah, World Series Little League.
And, but I had a car. I had a 46 Ford convertible.
Was that your first car?
That was my first car.
What color was it?
Black.
Black.
And then I had Hollywood Muppets on it.
What's that?
That's one that had the guts half tore out of it.
So it's loud?
Loud. And had this cop in South Williamsport. I lived in South Williamsport then. And he came by and he said, "You got to take off that muffler." I said, "Okay, I'll take it off." Every night, when I worked late, I'd come home, I'd get in front of his house and I'd do something. I took it off.
Well, if all the jobs in the world paid the same thing, what would you want to be?
What would I want to be? Well, I tried welding after I got out. I welded over to Arlington Cemetery for a while.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, they had things that broke, you know.
Uh-huh.
And I knew how to weld, so I'd go and I'd pick up the welding. I welded. Let's see. Probably be a jet engine mechanic again.
Did you? What'd you like about doing that?
It's well, all the Air Force does is remove and replace.
Right.
You never tore into anything. I would like to take a fuel control and tear into it and fix it.
See how it works?
See how it works and fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just sending it back to the factory.
Yeah.
And I would like to do that.
What about you had a boat here for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, we had a 65, cruiser. It was 26 foot long.
Was it bay built?
Yeah, it was bay built.
Bay built, yeah.
It was an Owens boat. It was an Owens boat. It was bay built. But I didn't use it too much.
There a lot of trouble.
And there are a lot of trouble, and it's money that you go out there and pull into the hole. So I got rid of it.
The two happiest days in a boat owner's life are the day he buys it and the day he sells it.
Right.
Yep. Well, what else don't we know about Mac that you want to tell them so everybody hears it?
Let's see. I don't know.
We know when you were born, where you were born.
Yeah, I took Dorothy back to show her the house I was born in.
Oh, is it still there?
Yeah, it's still there.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What, you remember what the address was?
No, I don't remember what the address was. I know where the house was because it was pointed out to me. My brothers pointed it out to me. And I knew where the house was, so I took her back there and I showed her where I was born.
Was it like you remembered it?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. It was like, then this lady came out of the house and I said, she says, can I do something for you? I said, no. I said, I just showed my wife, but I said, where I was born. She says, do you want to go in? I said, no. I said, I don't want to go in. She lived there.
Is that right?
Yeah. I did.
Yeah. How come you didn't want to go in?
I did.
You just didn't? Yeah.
What good would it mean going in there?
Yeah, you wouldn't remember much.
I wouldn't remember anything.
Yeah.
Because right after I was born, then they moved to Williamsport.
Williamsport, yeah.
And my father worked in where I worked in at Spencer Heater.
Oh, your dad worked there too?
Yeah.
Oh.
He worked there. So he died.
Hmm. What else?
But I had a good childhood. I was brought up, like you say, when I was smoking, I was 4 years old. But I was full of hell.
You're still kind of spunky.
I remember wandering off one time. I got aboard the the trolley.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't pay nothing to get on. And the trolley took me up to Newburgh, which is a town right above ours. And I got off and I went to a barber shop and I says, I'm lost.
How old were you?
I was about 4 or 5 years old, 5 or 6. And then, so the guy called the police in, and the police said, what's your name? I said, Dick. See, I was known as Dick, not Mac. And
you got Mac as a nickname in that
in service.
In service, yeah.
And so they notified the police, and the police notified my parents, and my dad come and got me.
You get a whipping?
No.
No?
Dad didn't.
Did you ever get a whipping?
Oh yeah, my dad used to go up and take the limb off a tree and whip my butt.
Get a switch and take it to you.
Yeah. Until my brothers started interfering with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my brothers was grown then. And every time he got a pick up the switch. He said, no, you don't. He said, you don't whip that boy.
Well, which brother was that?
Well, it was my oldest brother, William.
Oh, is that right?
Bill, yeah.
He took up for you, huh?
Yeah, all my brothers took up for me.
Did they get whippings?
No, they were too big to whip.
Oh, really?
They whipped the old man, boy, but they wouldn't whip, the old man wouldn't whip them. They were too big to whip.
Oh, shoot. I'll be darned. Did you get in trouble in school?